So hello doctors, I'm Dr. Yokeshan from GB1 MAMC and today we'll be learning about breathing and exchange of gases. आज मेरा तबीयत थोड़ा ख़राब है, so my voice is going to be a bit weird, so please cope up with me, but the revision has to be done. So content में कोई compromise नहीं रहेगा, right? So ये है atmospheric O2 जिसको हम inhale करेंगे and while exhalation we produce cellulose CO2. This process is known as breathing which we commonly call respiration, but breathing और respiration में काफ़ी difference है. Now let's look at the definition. The process of taking in oxygen and giving out CO2 through the lungs is known as breathing. But respiration is the process by which cells use oxygen and break down food and release energy. इसको हम कहते हैं respiration. Now a healthy human breathes 12 to 16 times per minute, जिसको हम कहते हैं respiratory rate. Now the instrument used to measure the volume of air is known as spirometer and it helps in assessment of pulmonary function. Alright doctors, are we clear? Alright. Now the mechanism of breathing depends upon habitats and the level of organization. Alright, अब हम समझेंगे organs used by organisms for breathing. Now sponges, coelorates, flatworms breathe by simple diffusion over the entire body surface. Earthworms by moist cuticle, which is cutaneous. In insects, network of tubes, which is by tracheal tubes. Aquatic arthropods and mollusks by gills, which is known as brachial respiration. Terrestrial forms by lungs, which is known as pulmonary respiration. Alright doctors, are we clear? Next. Now, vertebrates. Fishes breathe by gills. Amphibians, reptiles, birds and mammals breathe by lungs. Frogs, which are amphibians, breathe by moist skins, which is known as cutaneous respiration. Now let's look at the human respiratory system. Alright, so the external nostril leads into the nasal chamber. This follows into the pharynx, which is common for both food and air. This follows into the larynx, which is nothing but a cartilaginous box which produces sound, aka the sound box. And this follows into the trachea. अब trachea क्या है? This is a straight tube which extends up to mid-thoracic cavity and it divides at the fifth thoracic vertebrae. Now this follows up into the primary bronchi, then the secondary bronchi and then the tertiary bronchi followed into the initial bronchiole. Now this part is known as the conducting part. Now this opens up into the terminal bronchiole which opens up into the respiratory bronchiole and then the alveolar duct and then into the alveoli. Now this part is known as the respiratory part where there is actual site of diffusion. Alright doctors, let's understand the function of conducting part. Number 1, it transports atmospheric air to alveoli. Number 2, it clears it of foreign particles. Number 3, it humidifies and brings the air to body temperature. Now the lung is covered by pleural membranes. The outer pleura is in close contact with the thoracic lining. The inner pleura is in close contact with the lung surface. Now between both the pleuras there is pleural fluid which reduces friction. अब ये diagram देखो. The outer pleura is known as the parietal pleura and the inner pleura is known as visceral pleura. Viscera मतलब क्या है? Organs. So the inner pleura is obviously known as visceral pleura and the outer pleura is known as parietal pleura. Now between this is the interpleural space. Now next is the thoracic cage. It is an airtight chamber, dorsally vertebral column, ventrally sternum, laterally ribs and the lower side is the dome-shaped diaphragm. Alright doctors, are we clear? Alright. Now doctors, if there is any change in the thoracic volume, this is reflected in the pulmonary cavity. Now what are the steps involved in respiration? Number 1 is pulmonary ventilation. Number 2 is diffusion across the alveolar membrane. Number 3, transport of gases by the blood. Number 4, diffusion of O2 and CO2 between the blood and tissues. Number 5 is pulmonary ventilation. Alright doctors, now let's see the mechanism of breathing. Now this is known as the mechanism of breathing. अब समझेंगे the difference between inspiration and expiration. Time क्या है? Inspiration 2 seconds, expiration 3 seconds. Process क्या है? Inspiration obviously active है, expiration passive है. Intrapulmonary pressure inspiration के पहले वो low होता है and before expiration it's high. Pressure in lungs with respect to atmosphere, inspiration में negative, expiration में positive. Shape of diaphragm while inspiration is flat and expiration is dome shaped. Muscles involved, contraction of diaphragm, external intercostal muscles. While expiration, there is a relaxation of diaphragm and use of external intercostal muscles. Alright doctors, are we clear? Alright doctors, now let's look at the diagram. Here we can see the air entering the lungs, and ribs and sternum is raised. Basically they move upward and outward. Now this is the rib cage. Here the diaphragm is contracted and the overall volume of thorax is increased. Now during expiration, air is expelled from the lungs, so the ribs and sternum is returned back to the original position and the volume of thorax is obviously decreased. Here the diaphragm is relaxed and it arches upwards. Alright doctors, in inspiration and expiration, the diaphragm increases or decreases the volume of thoracic cavity in anteroposterior axis, not posterior anterior axis. ठीक है? The external intercostal muscle increases or decreases the volume of thoracic cavity in dorsoventral axis, not ventrodorsal axis or not anteroposterior axis. These two are important questions, याद रखना. Now the movement of air in and out of the lungs is created by pressure gradient between the lungs and atmosphere. Now we can increase the strength of respiration by using additional muscles in the abdomen, क्योंकि ये combined process है. ठीक है? Alright doctors, now let's understand the respiratory volume and capacities. Now tidal volume is the volume of air inspired or expired during normal respiration, which is 500 ml. So 500 into 12 or 16 क्या होगा? 6000 to 8000 ml per minute. Next, inspiratory reserve volume. Volume inspired by forcible inspiration, which is 2000 to 3000 ml. Expiratory reserve volume. Volume expired by forcible expiration, which is 1000 to 1100 ml. Residual volume. Volume present after forcible expiration, which is 1100 to 1200 ml, and this cannot be measured. Actually कुछ techniques है, but they are a bit advanced. Now inspiratory capacity. It is the total volume of air inspired after normal expiration, which is tidal volume plus inspiratory reserve volume. Expiratory capacity. It is the total volume of air expired after normal inspiration, which is tidal volume plus expiratory reserve volume. Now functional residual capacity. Volume present in lung after normal expiration. Expiratory reserve volume plus residual volume. Now vital capacity. After forced expiration, the maximum volume of air a person can breathe, which is inspiratory reserve volume plus tidal volume plus expiratory reserve volume. Now total lung capacity. At the end of forced inspiration, the total volume of air accommodated in lungs. So it is IRV plus TV plus ERV plus residual volume. Okay doctors, look at this graph. This is the tidal volume. This is the inspiratory reserve volume, जो tidal volume के ऊपर है. This is the expiratory reserve volume, and this is the residual volume, which is actually very hard to measure. जो NCERT के हिसाब से हम measure नहीं कर सकते हैं. This is the total lung capacity, and this is the vital capacity. TV plus IRV plus ERV. Alright doctors, let's understand the exchange of gases. Now when we inspire air, it goes through the alveolus. It enters our pulmonary veins. अब ये pulmonary veins obviously goes to the heart. Heart से pumps out oxygenated blood. So this enters the systemic arteries carrying oxygenated blood. This goes to the body tissues. And यहाँ oxygen extract होता है. Tissues में जो CO2 होता है वो बाहर जाता है. Now this CO2 is carried out by systemic veins carrying deoxygenated blood. This goes back to the heart, and the pulmonary artery carries it back to the lung, and alveolus में there is again exchange of gases. Alright doctors, let's understand partial pressures of oxygen and carbon dioxide at different parts involved in diffusion in comparison to those in atmosphere. Okay? Now, oxygen atmospheric air में 159, but CO2 is only 0.3. Oxygen alveoli में 104 है. Alright. Now if we go into oxygenated blood, it comes to 95. Then it goes to tissue, it comes around 40, and then in the deoxygenated blood same value आएगा which is around 40. Now CO2 as I told atmospheric air में 0.3 है, alveoli में 40 है, oxygenated blood में कितना होगा? 40 होगा. Now as it enters the tissue, CO2 obviously बढ़ेगा, so 45 बनेगा. Now the same blood will come into deoxygenated blood, so the value will be 45. Okay doctors, are we clear? Alright. Now gases are exchanged between alveoli and blood and tissues. This happens by a simple diffusion. Now diffusion depends upon two things. एक है हमारा pressure gradient. Obviously जितना pressure होगा उतना ही diffusion होगा. And next is solubility of gases, क्योंकि gases soluble होना चाहिए. And third thing is the thickness of membrane, है ना? Thickness के ऊपर भी depend करता है. Okay doctors, now definition of partial pressure क्या है? The pressure exerted by an individual gas in a mixture of gas is known as partial pressure. Now the solubility of CO2 is 20 to 25 times higher than that of O2. Always remember CO2 का जो soluble है वो बहुत ज़्यादा है और O2 को कम है. Alright doctors, now air is exchanged through the diffusion membrane. Now what does it comprise of? It comprises of three things. Number one is thin squamous epithelium of alveoli and then endothelium of alveolar capillaries and उसके बीच में basement membrane होगा. Now the total thickness is less than 1 mm. Now look at this diagram doctors. This is the alveolar cavity. Here you can see the squamous epithelium of the alveolar wall in the inner side, and here you can see the endothelium of the blood capillary, and here you can see the basement substance in between. And as you can see, the blood is flowing like this over here. Okay doctors, now let's understand the transport of gases. O2 and CO2 transport is done via blood. ये तो obvious है ना? Now oxygen is 97% transported by RBCs and 3% is transported in dissolved state through plasma. But CO2 20 to 25% is transported by RBC and 70% is transported as bicarbonate and 7% in dissolved state. Alright doctors, अब हम समझेंगे oxygen transport. ठीक है? Now oxygen plus hemoglobin forms oxyhemoglobin. Now this binding is related to partial pressure of oxygen जो prime factor है. It is also related to partial pressure of CO2 and the H plus ion concentration and the temperature. So 4 point है with the partial pressure of O2 being the prime factor. Now alveoli में there is formation of oxyhemoglobin and this depends on 4 factors, which is high PO2, which is the prime factor, low PCO2, less H plus ions and low temperature. Whereas tissues में there is dissociation of oxygen from Hb. अब इसका 4 favorable conditions है, low PO2, high PCO2, more H plus ions and high temperature. Now hemoglobin is a red colored pigment containing iron and present in RBC. Now each hemoglobin molecule carries up to 4 oxygen molecules. Okay doctors, are we clear? Alright. Now every 100 ml of oxygenated blood delivers around 5 ml of O2 to the tissues under normal conditions. Okay doctors? Now CO2 transport. Now 20 to 25% of CO2 binds with hemoglobin and forms carbaminohemoglobin. Now the factors affecting this binding is PCO2 and PO2 only, where here PO2 is a major factor. अब alveoli में there is dissociation of CO2 from carbaminohemoglobin. अब इसकी favorable conditions क्या है? Decrease in PCO2 and increase in PO2. और tissues में carbamino-HB formation होता है. इसका favorable conditions क्या है? Increase in PCO2 and decrease in PO2. Now एक और method जिससे CO2 transport होता है is via bicarbonate. Now CO2 plus H2O with the help of carbonic anhydrase in alveoli forms H2CO3. Now this with the help of carbonic anhydrase in the tissues releases HCO3 minus and H plus. Now CO2 is trapped as bicarbonate at tissue level and is transported to alveoli to get released out as CO2. Every 100 ml of deoxygenated blood delivers 4 ml of CO2 to alveoli. Now carbonic anhydrase is present in RBCs in large amounts and in plasma in small amounts. Okay doctors, are we clear? अब हम समझेंगे रेगुलेशन ऑफ रेस्पिरेशन. देखो रेगुलेशन ऑफ रेस्पिरेटरी रिदम इज डन बाय द न्यूरल सिस्टम. तो न्यूरल सिस्टम 3 पार्ट्स होते हैं, ठीक है? रेस्पिरेटरी रिदम सेंटर, न्यूमोटैक्सिक सेंटर एंड कीमोसेंसिटिव एरिया. Now respiratory rhythm center is a specialized center in medulla and it is primarily responsible for regulation of respiration. Pneumotaxic center is present in pons and it moderates function of rhythm center. It reduces duration of inspiration and alters the respiratory rate. Chemosensitive area, नाम से पता चल रहा है ये chemosensitive है. It is adjacent to the rhythm area and it is highly sensitive to increased CO2 and H plus ions. It signals the rhythm center to eliminate CO2 and H plus ions. Alright doctors, are we clear? Respiratory rhythm center, pneumotaxic center and chemosensitive area. Now receptors associated with aortic arch and carotid artery can recognize changes in CO2 and H plus concentration and this signals rhythm center to eliminate these. Alright doctors, the role of oxygen in regulation of respiratory rhythm is quite insignificant. Okay doctors, now let's understand the disorders of respiratory system. Now you are a doctor, so let's understand this like a doctor. Alright, now let's wear a stethoscope and let's try to understand asthma. ठीक है? Now asthma में क्या होता है? There is difficulty in breathing. तो इसमें क्या होता है? Wheeze सुनाई देता है. क्यों? क्योंकि हमारे lungs में ये जो bronchioles है, there is inflammation of the bronchi and bronchioles. तो airway narrowing होते हैं. तो क्या होगा? Wheeze का आवाज. So जैसे आप whistle करते हो like you get a musical sound, है ना. तो जब airway में inflammation होता है, here also you get a musical sound जिसको हम कहते हैं wheeze. Alright, now doctors, let's understand emphysema. Very common disorder in our country. It's a chronic disorder. Here the alveolar walls are damaged, due to which respiratory surface is reduced. Major cause is cigarette smoking. If you take your friend who is smoking, you do an x-ray, there's a high chance you will find emphysema in him. Okay doctors, now let's understand occupational respiratory disorders which occur due to dust, majorly in people working in industries which involve grinding or stone breaking. तो क्या होगा, लॉन्ग टर्म एक्सपोजर जिसकी वजह से इन्फ्लेमेशन होगा एंड दिस लीड्स टू फाइब्रोसिस. पूरा लंग पूरा फाइब्रोज हो जाएगा एंड दिस प्रोलिफरेशन ऑफ फाइब्रस टिश्यू लीड्स टू लंग डैमेज. दैट इज व्हाई वर्कर्स शुड वेयर प्रोटेक्टिव मास्क. ओके डॉक्टर्स, आर वी क्लियर? ऑलराइट डॉक्टर्स, विल कैच यू इन द नेक्स्ट वन शॉट. मेरा टेलीग्राम लिंक मेरा बायो में है, वहाँ आपको नोट्स मिल जाएगा. एंड प्लीज़ गिव मी फीडबैक. आपको क्या एक्स्ट्रा चाहिए, व्हाट आर द स्टफ्स यू नीड, कुछ इनपुट्स, कुछ डायग्राम्स, कुछ भी, वॉट एवर यू नीड, प्लीज़ मैसेज मी, डू रिप्लाई देम इन द कमेंट्स. ऑलराइट डॉक्टर्स, सी यू.